Today on Northern Revolutions, I'm going to take a look at 10 perfect albums. Some of these records you'll know, some of them I guarantee you will not. Find out what they are. Stay tuned. Community. Welcome to Northern Revolutions. I'm Rob. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new. As I mentioned in the intro, today I want to talk about 10 records that I think are perfect. I came across this thread started by a new vinyl community channel called Damon Talks Records. I found out about this channel through my pal Steve over at All the World's a Stage. He did a response to that, and it got me thinking, do I have 10 records that I think are perfect? I've got 600, 700 albums. I've probably got another 500 on CD. I don't talk about CDs a lot. So I thought, do I have 10 perfect records? Some of these records are probably no surprise for any regular viewers. Some of these albums I have shown before. Some of them may be a little cliche, but because some of them are perfect, that's why they're well known. So I'm going to start off with the absolute no-brainer. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. I don't think this needs any explanation. I think this is a perfect record. It's not a song on here I don't like. I think everything about this is an absolute masterpiece. I've said before, it's my favorite album of all time. It's why I have, I think, 18 different pressings of this. This is actually mid-70s Canadian pressing on marble vinyl. Steve made the point in his response video that if Ringo sings a song, it's not perfect. And while generally I would agree with you, Steve, this is the one exception that I think Ringo's song, which is A Little Help from My Friends, elevates this album. So, agree to disagree, I suppose. The next one that I think is perfect, and I should mention these are in no particular order, is an album, again, I've shown many times, hugely influential in my life. A lot of people don't like this album, but I think it's perfect. Oasis, What's the Story of Morning Glory? Absolutely landmark album for me, being a teenager getting into music in the mid-90s when this came out. Absolutely love this. Actually like the vinyl version better than the CD version because it contains Bonehead's Bank Holiday, which the CD does not. Listen, I know people hate Wonderwall. I don't hate Wonderwall. I don't think it's as good as all of the radio airplay that it deserves, but I still think it's a great song. But everything on here, I absolutely love. I mean, it culminates with Champagne Supernova, Don't Look Back in Anger. Everything about this, for me, perfect. Many of my friends in the vinyl community will expect that this artist will show up in my list, and Steve already made the comment as to whether I would include this band or not. Of course. I know Sam knows what this is. He'll be laughing already. Blue Rodeo's Outskirts, for those that don't know, and Damon might not. It sounds like Damon's probably in the UK somewhere. Blue Rodeo is a legendary Canadian country rock band from Toronto. They've been around for 40 years. This is their debut from '87. It's called Outskirts. It's a phenomenal country rock record. Two absolutely massive radio anthems on here. Radio anthems in Canada. Try and Rose-Colored Glasses. But this is absolutely phenomenal. And there's even a couple songs in here. Like there's a song called Piranha Pool, which is Greg Keeler, one of the two frontmen. It's him being a little more abstract, a little more experimental, but it starts with a very long piano interlude and it just builds into something awesome. It's a comment on the political military infrastructure and their sort of disregard for humanity, I suppose. Anyway, I think this album is absolutely perfect. No word of a lie. This, along with the other two that I just showed, are the three of the albums that I have listened to more than anything else in my entire life. The next one I want to show is a band that I absolutely fell in love with 10 years ago. A little longer than 10 years ago, actually. It's a band called Grace Potter and the Nocturnals. I like to describe them as a 70s blues flavored rock and roll band from, the mid 2000s to the mid 2010s. Fronted by Grace Potter until she blew up this band because she got a bit of an ego. But I've seen this band, I've met this band. They're incredible. They had about 5 studio albums. They restored my faith in rock and roll when no one was making rock and roll. Grace Potter is a cross between like Janis Joplin and Grace Slick, but also can sing quiet melodic stuff too. Just incredible. Everyone in this band is phenomenal. This is her self-titled release from 2011. Not a bad song on here. Paris Ooh La La was the hit, but Money, Colors, Goodbye Kiss, Medicine, One Short Night. I love absolutely everything on this. This grabs me from the first song to the last. It's a shame this band isn't around anymore. Grace Potter and the Nocturnals. This is the only one that I'm going to show on CD because it was never available on vinyl. This is the Dustin Bentall outfit. This is his album Six Shooter. This was a self-released album from 2009. That's Dustin right there. And that was his girlfriend at the time, Kendall Carson. I know both of these people. This was what a great, it's stoner rock combined with country and western, which is a bizarre combination. It absolutely works. It's phenomenal. He's got a great band on this. Pat Stewart, who's Bryan Adams' drummer, is the drummer on this album. Luke Doucette is his guitar player. Luke Doucette, I've talked about before, I think is the greatest guitar player in Canada. Is also part of Whitehorse. And Kendall Carson, his fiddle player, who now plays with Alan Doyle, is featured on here. And Del Cowsill, his dad was Billy Cowsill from the Cowsills. Just a phenomenal collection of country rock, stoner rock, country western songs. The highlight on here is a song called 3,000 Miles, which is the only one Dustin didn't write. It's written by a Toronto singer-songwriter, Corin Raymond. I love playing that song. Anyway, Six Shooter. I wish this was on vinyl. Phenomenal. I can't speak enough about this. I've probably listened to this album 1,000 times with no exaggeration. It's another big one that everyone knows. U2. Most people would probably pick Joshua Tree, but I'm not going to pick Joshua Tree. I'm going to pick Achtung Baby from 1991. I think this album is perfect. It was sort of U2 going off in a slightly different direction, a little more experimental is not the word, but definitely a departure from Joshua Tree and the stuff they'd done before. But great. Mysterious Ways, The Fly, Acrobat, even better than The Real Thing, One, which is one of their greatest songs of all time, Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses, everything on here. I remember when my girlfriend at the time turned me on to this band and this album in particular, in probably 94, and I never looked back. This is what started my love affair with U2. So, Achtung Baby. Everybody in the vinyl community loves Bob Dylan, except for me. Though I'm trying. I don't like Bob Dylan, but I do really like Jacob Dylan, his son. This is the Wallflowers 1996 release, Bringing Down the Horse. I think it's the Wallflowers' third album. I remember when the lead single for this appeared on Much Music. I loved it then. I'm glad this came out on vinyl in 2016. It's possible to find. but I grabbed it the day it came out. It's on here. 3 Marlenas, 6th Avenue Heartache, 1 Headlight, God Don't Make Lonely Girls. I really like Jakob Dylan's songwriting. I mean, you can hear his father in there, but I think what turns me off of Bob Dylan is his voice. It doesn't appeal to me at all. And I know that's not why people like Bob Dylan, but I just can't get into him for that reason. But, Jacob's got a little bit of that rasp in there, but he's a much better singer. I like his style of songwriting. Love the Wallflowers, but this is hands down their best album. One of my favorite albums of the 90s that I play endlessly. Bring Down the Horse. Next up is probably the most cliche of all the records that I'm going to talk about. Fleetwood Mac's Rumors. Everybody knows Fleetwood Mac's Rumors, one of the greatest selling albums of all time. Why is it one of the greatest selling albums of all time? Because it's one of the best albums of all time. Secondhand News, Dreams, Don't Stop, Songbird, The Chain, You Make Lovin' Fun. Everyone knows the story behind this. Their relationships breaking up, and they're pouring their heartache into songs. Each of them have to sing, and it's a hell of a story, and it's a hell of an album. It's timeless. This was, I got into the Beatles through my dad, and I sort of discovered this on my own, and boy, did I love it then, and I love it as much now as I did in 1994 when I first discovered it. Rumors. The next one I want to show, I only have a picture disc, which is hard enough to find in its own right. I would love a black vinyl version of it, but I cannot find this album. A lot of people hate this band. And I get that. This is a band you either love or you hate. A lot of people don't get this band, but The Darkness. This is their debut from, I don't know when this came out. I want to say it was 2003. This is called Permission to Land. I think The Darkness are incredible. They are a British glam rock band. I like to say that they make fun of the genre and honor it at the same time, if that makes any sense. But they do it so well. They're a joke, but they're serious. And they're so damn good. This is extremely profanity laden, which doesn't bother me in the least. But I think the biggest hit of their career came off of this record, which was I Believe in a Thing Called Love. I was watching Rachel stream a few weeks ago, and Rachel likes this band, but everyone else thought, oh, this is garbage. I get it. But you can't judge The Darkness just on that song. But my roommate, back when this came out, he brought the CD of this home, and he said, you got to hear this. You'll understand it. And I did, and he and I played it incessantly. So it's still one of my favorite albums of all time, and I think it's perfect. The Darkness, Permission to Land. And last but not least, Canadian artist that I love, Tom Cochrane. Tom Cochrane used to be part of Red Rider, and then is part of Red Rider, and went solo in between. This is his album, Mad Mad World, which originally came out in 1991. This is a great rock record. Most folks will probably know the song Life is a Highway. There's a shitty country cover of it by some country band in the States, but it's a Tom Cochrane song. But there are some amazing songs in here. Life's a Highway, Mad Mad World, No Regrets, Sinking Like a Sunset, Bigger Man. Phenomenal, just kind of rock, like if you like Mellencamp, or you like Tom Petty. I mean, this is sort of right in that kind of sweet spot, but it's got a little bit of that hard to define Canadian sound, which is a real thing. So this is the reissue from 2016. Thankfully, it's been repressed. But anyway, again, I think this album is timeless. It's wonderful, and there's not a note on this album that I would change. Tom Cochrane's Mad Mad World. There you go, folks. That is my 10 records that I would give a 10 out of 10 at. They're albums that I think are absolutely perfect. They're albums that I listen to with tremendous frequency. Some of them you know, some of them you probably don't. The ones you don't, maybe check them out. There might be something that you like. Anyway, this was just a thread response to a new channel that I'd like to say welcome to the vinyl community. Damon Talks Records. I will leave a link in the description. Please check him out. Please give him a subscribe, and let's help him grow his channel. That's everything for me today, everybody. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the flip side. Bye.